our scroll for this month, 2 of 12, as you can see, February compassion, and look, she who lives without condition. She who lives without condition. And so we are going to go through this month's scroll. I think you'll find it very, very helpful. A lot of the areas we have noted here. So passion is our focus. Compassion is sympathetic consciousness of others, the stress that they might be going through. And with compassion, we have a desire to want to be able to alleviate it for the person. So, one of the things I thought about is empathy. And when it comes to empathy, what makes it unique in its own sense is that it refers also to you and I being active and wanting to share in someone's emotional experience. So with but the key is that with empathy, we feel what that person is feeling. When it comes to compassion, now we're taking an additional step in which we want to help alleviate that feeling that someone might be having. Well, how might we do that? We might give that person a hug, or we might just rest our hand gently on their shoulder, on their back, or give them, um, so actually, sometimes it's just your presence that can help make a difference when it comes to compassion. So compassion, again, is actually taking that extra step to help that person, whatever they're help whatever they're going through at the moment, to help them feel better. So we're going to now move to an area that I know you really enjoy, and that's our reflection time. So we're calling it Serene Self-Reflection this month. And I actually came up with two questions. If you have your pen and your notebook ready, we're going to go ahead and begin. I'm going to give you about 5 to 7 minutes to actually write. Let's begin with the first question. In your journal, share this information, your response, your reply. When have I withheld compassion from myself? When have I withheld compassion from myself? Okay, I'll give you time to respond in your journal. I'm going to give you another minute, then we'll continue. Okay. All right. When have I withheld compassion from myself? This is a wonderful self-reflection question because the bottom line is that when it comes to compassion, like we mentioned earlier, it's wanting to actually help someone and help relieve the help to help them to relieve the stress they might be going through or the feeling they might be going through. Now, in order to do that, one of the key things is that we have to be in a good state on our own. So it's important that we have self care and take good care of ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. And then it will enable us to have the strength to give to others. There's a second question here. What part of me still aches to be held? I'd like you to just write that question down. And tonight, when you get ready for bed, before you turn in for the night, take a moment and respond to that question in your journal. What part of me still aches to be held? I think both of these questions are really important. Again, it's about self reflection. Okay, now we're going to move from our reflection time and move to connection. All right, with connection, you see what I've done is I've actually enlarged our scroll for February. Again, she who loves without condition. So some things to be mindful of. Decided to note the moon phase of the new moon for the month of February. And it actually is in a few days on February 17th, which is this upcoming Tuesday. And beside us having a new moon, some other interesting things that are occurring on that day is also is the lunar new year. The lunar new year when it comes to um, the Chinese New Year. And also at sundown, for those families that observe Islamic faith, it will begin their observance of Ramadan. It begins on the 17th. So the new moon is going to have a lot going on that day. So I wanted to share just a few things for you to know about a new moon. It actually symbolizes new beginnings. fresh starts, and infinite potential. And it marks the beginning of the lunar cycle when the moon is actually positioned between the earth and the sun. That's when the new moon begins. And it's visible to us, as you know, you've seen it where we see just that little sliver, it looks like a little slice of the moon. Spiritually and astrologically, the new moon is seen as a period of renewal, inner reflection, and manifestation. It actually invites individuals to take a pause and release what no longer serves you, and then align with your deepest desires and goals. So I know we started the new year last month, especially if you live um, in the United States and other parts of the world that make a big deal when January 1 comes in. But this also is another opportunity for a fresh start when the new moon showcases itself. Overall, the new moon is a powerful symbol of rebirth, possibility, and the quiet strength found in stillness. And you see the picture of the woman just taking the time to take a breath and to relax and be still and creating just oneness within self. This is something that, again, we must remember to do and helping us to connect, helping us to remember. Also, I wanted to share our crystal ally for the month of February, and we have rose quartz. I actually have a piece of rose quartz. That's what it looks like. It's a very, very pretty stone. So this is a stone we're highlighting for the month of February. It's also known as the love stone. Why? Well, it is said, and again, this is for entertainment purposes only, but it is said by many that they have found that it amplifies powerful love energy, helps promote calm and peacefulness, and support emotional balance. So this might be a stone you would be interested in. The stone may aid in bringing peace and harmony to relationships while enhancing your confidence, personal expression, your creativity, and receptivity to deeper levels of love and compassion. So that's our rose quartz stone. And I know you've probably seen it many times. It's one of my favorite stones too there. This is so pretty, and I love pink anyway. Okay, rose quartz. Let's continue. So for activation, I want you to say this particular affirmation with me. Okay, we're going to switch this back around here. Let's say this affirmation together. I offer my heart as a sanctuary. My softness is strength. My care is revolutionary. Let's say that together again. I offer my heart as a sanctuary. My softness is strength. My care is revolutionary. Wow. Powerful, powerful, powerful statement. Okay. Okay. And again, that's why it's so important self care. Again, you see a woman with her hands crossed and just giving herself love. And this is something that you should do at least once a day in the morning when you wake up. Matter of fact, you can do it again in the evening as you retire. And just remember to take a across your arms, across your chest, and just take a breath. Matter of fact, you take 3 breaths. Breathe in with eyes closed and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And just taking that pause. And that can be very, very helpful in just bringing that calm, bringing that stillness. Again, remember, breath is the strength that we have. Sometimes people forget about that, but it's one of our strengths, especially as women. Let's continue. We're almost there. So, she who loves without condition, compassion, wanting to help, wanting to help others. So, in order to do that, we have to remember, as we wrap up, that we need to expand our circles of care. That's what we must do. You have to remember to take care of self. That's going to be key and important for us to be able to provide compassion towards others. And so, I have a few closing comments I want to share with you. I decided to just look up what was said about expanding your circle of care and get some bullets here. And let me share these with you that I was able to pull offline. The people and the relationships you emotionally and physically support are when we're expanding our circle of care. It can deepen compassion and connection, but it must be done mindfully. And mindfully, when it comes to mindfully, that means you're doing it with awareness, that you're just not doing it haphazardly, and you're conscious of what you're doing. It's intentional. To want to do it mindfully in order so you don't burn out. The key is to balance self-care with care for others by first ensuring your own needs are met. And so, how can you do that? These are some ways that are suggested. Start with self-awareness. Use tools like the Circle of Self-Care or Circle of Care frameworks, and you can find those online. Identify areas where you're already strong and where you need replenishment before expanding support to others. That's a big one. Expand inward first. It's number 2. As noted in Psychology Today and The Fearless Heart, true care for others begins with caring for yourself, including your own needs in the equation. Caring for myself is not selfish, but it's essential to sustainable care for others. Number 3, remember to set boundaries proactively. Okay? When reaching out to others outside your current circle, practice the pre-ask. Ask for help or support before you're overwhelmed. Use emotional self-care. Practices like naming your feelings, journaling, which we do in this particular section, and also be aware of and being mindful. Number 4, engage with intention, not obligation. Expand your circle by connecting with people with shared values, community, or purpose. How can you do that? You can volunteer. You can actually become a part of support communities and groups that have a purpose that you are in sync with, very similar to what we're doing here. And also any spiritual or cultural circles. Also, again, a way to engage with intention, but not so much obligation. Practice dissolving the circle gradually. Now, what are you talking about here? Well, let me share with you what is mentioned here. As Greg Kretsch suggests in widening your circle of compassion, you don't need to force inclusion. By deepening understanding through meditation, reflection, or dialogue, you may naturally find new people inside your circle without sacrificing your own well being. And the last point that's mentioned here in this particular article is prioritize quality over quantity. Focus on nurturing a few deep, reciprocal relationships rather than spreading yourself too thin. And again, remember the circle of care model. You can actually type that and in your browser and the internet, and you can get that information because it talks about the importance of communication. It talks about goals and it talks about check-ins. Ultimately, true expansion of care comes not from giving more, but from being more present, grounded, and self-aware. When you care for yourself with consistency and compassion, you create the emotional and physical space to care for others without compromise. And again, she who loves without condition, February 2026. The scroll has spoken, the circle is sealed. We remember. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.